Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Typically Unique. I'm Kim Aponte, and I'm here with my husband, Carlos.
Hello.
And it's been a while. We kind of skipped a week of recording, not planned. There were a couple things going on. I was trying to finish strong with the school year ending and ended up getting sick. So really sick, and that was not in the plan. So I was out of commission for a while. So feeling better.
Yeah, Kim has a history of not finishing strong. So trying to get to the end of the school year. She powered through, not only getting through the end of the school year, but we tried to do some stuff for this weekend for, the holiday weekend. And yeah, Kim powered through. So kind of getting our backyard all set up. And
It's finally, the sun is finally out where we're from. So, we only get about 4 or 5 months of it if we're lucky. So got to get out there and enjoy every minute of it.
Exactly.
So when we left off last time, we went home from round 3 and we're very excited that the doctors told us we could stay home for 2 weeks, and that was going to be leading up to Christmas time. So that's what we're going to talk about on this episode because, I know people will say, not a big problem when you're just trying to figure out how to do holidays and things like that. But, we have traditions in our family, and the holidays were important, especially with, young kids still. So we were trying to figure out how we were going to make everything work and, wanted to have that special time with our family. So that was a big deal to us. So I did journal about that. So I want to read some of that to kind of show what we did, what we were thinking at that time. So this was actually like the second part of the journal I think I left off with from the last episode, and I titled it Big Discussion of the Night. For some reason, Carlos and I both realized at the same time that by planning our Christmas celebration for the 18th, it wouldn't allow Aiden very much time to enjoy all of his presents before going back to the hospital on the 21st. We had gone back and forth from wanting to have it the 11th or the 18th, and we were only thinking about whether we'd be home or not. We weren't thinking about anything else. So we started brainstorming some options, and we came up with the idea that we'll just go way outside the box from our traditions and maybe do our Christmas morning this Saturday, the 11th, because I think we went home on like December 7th, something like that. So we thought we would do it on Saturday, the 11th with the kids so they could wake up at home, open their presents, and, have a full week plus some days to, enjoy some of the things that they would get. And then we would still do our traditional Christmas Eve party with our extended family on the 18th. So we sat the kids down and we told them our idea, and Aiden shot it right down. It was more important for him to keep our tradition and go to bed on Christmas Eve, even though it would be the 18th, to wake up on Christmas morning like we always do. I was blown away by that. I know the traditions are special to me, but now I know that we have created something special for the kids too. So we all weighed in on what we thought, but we let Aiden's opinion count the most. December 18th will be our Christmas Eve, and December 19th will be our Christmas. And then I just made a list of things, activities that we wanted to do while we were home, and we still had to, we had to put up the Christmas tree and go out to eat at Applebee's was Aiden's favorite restaurant at the time. And there's a lights on the lake display that they do at Christmas time, so we wanted to drive through that. Carly was playing basketball, so we wanted to go see some of her games, and we were her coaches. Carlos was her coach. I was the assistant the year before, so that was a big change too. We weren't able to make that kind of a commitment. We were just lucky if we could make some of the games. We wanted to do that. We were desperately waiting for the new Harry Potter movie to come out, and I keep referring to that in a bunch of journal entries, and it took a while for us to get our hands on a copy of that. So those were some of the things that we wanted to do. And then, by the time we went to bed last night, Carly was not feeling good. She got up several times during the night, but nothing really happened. And I was so exhausted from interrupted sleep that we all just stayed home the next day. We didn't even do any of the things we had planned. I need to keep Carly away from Aiden and disinfect everything. So today is day 1 at home. And let's hope Carly recovers quickly and no germs get spread. So that was that first journal entry, and that's when you're a family having to stay in the hospital for an extended time like this, you really want to, and you only get a certain amount of days at home. You really want to try to maximize it, and you have to balance what can you do and how to do it the safest way.
Yeah. Not much to add to that.
So then we had our Christmas, and this was a post from December 19th. Well, our Christmas weekend was wonderful, exhausting, and went by too fast. Christmas Eve, 20 of us got together at our house for a wonderful feast provided by my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my mom, and my mother-in-law. They did all the major cooking, so I wouldn't have to spend the day slaving away and stressing out, because that's what I would usually would do. So that was so nice. I have to speak honestly. Even though we had a great time and had our traditions, there's just something magical in the air on December 24th that was missing. Aiden was trying to express this to me too, not in those words, but I'm pretty sure that was the feeling he had. I do have to say, Aiden got some pretty cool stuff to bring up to the hospital. He's going to drive the nurses nuts with this talking remote control robot he got. It is very funny and will be the perfect toy for him to play with when he has those days of not wanting to get out of bed. And I still have that robot, and I use it in my classroom very sparingly because I'm trying to make it last. But it is funny. It talks, and it's really funny. Oh, and did I mention we got word from friends that are up at Rainbow now that the game room is closed again because of a water leak. We said this happened many, many, many times. We hope it is a quick fix. Carly also got some really neat craft items that she can pass the time with while we spend time together at the hospital over break. Aiden has been feeling pretty well the whole time he has been home. He was a little sick last night, which he did the last time we were home before we went back. I wonder if it's nerves. Can't blame him. I feel like I have to spend the next 2 days preparing myself to go back to the twilight zone. Hospital life is just so different when you spend so many days there in a row. The nurse practitioner called Friday with Aiden's lab results from a blood draw Friday afternoon, and his counts were practically normal. Carly, Aiden, and I will head to the hospital on Wednesday for Aiden's bone marrow test, spinal chemo, and an echocardio test. They usually start chemo immediately that first night. This is round 4, and I believe he will get chemo for somewhere around 10 days. I have to ask at the hospital because each round of treatment is totally different. That makes it difficult to prepare for side effects because it's never the same. I will post an update on this when I find out. Carly found out from a friend who she met at Rainbow that the Cavs and Browns players are going to be at the hospital tomorrow. She was so bummed. We had to have a talk about how it's more important to be home. I think she wanted to go up there for that. But it stinks that Carly and Aiden are missing it.
I just hope Andy doesn't show up because he is Carly's favorite. And what was
Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, Varejao.
Yep.
I plan to stay in my PJs tomorrow and hang out with the kids all day. I think Carly is going to make me go to the store, though, because I got this really cute 1-cup blender that I can take to the hospital to make milkshakes and smoothies for Aiden. But Carly wants to make them now. Of course, that's my girl. I think I'm going to be in trouble with the school teacher when we get back to Rainbow because we have a math quiz and a book to be reading. Oops. Even the teacher's not teachering during this time. Tuesday is my day that I will spend getting all of that stuff back together and getting us packed up for our return to the hospital. These 2 weeks went by way too fast, but we're getting closer to the big welcome home party. I'll try to get Aiden on here more during this round, and I thanked everybody for their messages and their thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, that was, I think that Christmas was special in a way because, all the family was there and Aiden was there. And even though it wasn't as high spirited as it typically would be, we laughed, we actually laughed a lot. I think we came down to the basement. We took like a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
We were all like joking around about taking pictures and everything. And it was just fun to just have everybody together who we really haven't spent a lot of time with. Aiden hadn't seen in a long period of time coming up to the hospital. So it was just good to have everybody get together and spend that time.
And looking back on it now, you don't realize, our families, everybody, like 20 people, that was a large gathering for us, that everybody had to make adjustments and, get everything planned ahead of time and spur of the moment and make time for us. And that just meant a lot to us.
Right.
That, nobody batted an eye. Nobody complained or anything. It was just all love. So that was amazing.
Yeah, I think it was a good, up until that point, we'd really been kind of battling this whole thing and trying to get things ready for our return. And, I think this was a good opportunity for us to kind of be on a little bit of a high, knowing that, we still have 2 more pretty tough treatments to go.
Yeah.
And, still keeping our fingers crossed that everything was going to work out well. We still didn't know.
Yeah, and it was a nice break because even though we were home for 2 weeks, it was before Christmas break, from school officially. So, I had some other journal posts that I'm not reading, but I was always praying for it because school was still in session for a while, right up until that 17th, 18th time period. So I was always praying for a snow day so that I could be home with Aiden and not have to leave him. So then we go back to the hospital on the 22nd, and Christmas in the hospital is just, a whole other thing. So I wrote, "Merry Christmas, everyone. The 4 of us are at the hospital together, and Aiden has been getting his chemotherapy already." Wednesday, December 22nd, Aiden got admitted, got spinal chemo and his first high dose of Ara-C chemo. He gets that every 12 hours for an hour for 3 days. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, he will start a new chemo that is blue. He will get that for 3 days and then be done with chemo for this round. These are all very high-dose chemos this time, and usually Aiden hits his lowest point about 10 days from the last dose. Aiden's spinal fluid was all clear, and his heart test was also normal. Right now, he is eating well and has some itching and hiccups. This is the second time that he's had the hiccups. That's funny. He's dealing with the itching because Benadryl makes him fall asleep, and he doesn't want to fall asleep right now. The kids will have a few presents to open tomorrow morning thanks to a very generous family that spent time up here at Rainbow. They raise money all year to buy Christmas presents for the kids and their siblings. We hope everyone is having a very Merry Christmas weekend. So I do have a photo here, but
there's a cart, like a big trolley cart, just stock full of big, huge garbage bags and presents that they just loaded up and just came down the floor and handed them out to everybody.
And these were former patients of Rainbow, people that were giving back in one way, shape, or form. I mean, some people chose holidays, some people chose specific dates to maybe their case, maybe when someone was cured or maybe when someone passed away, that they would come up to the hospital and do these things. And this particular family, maybe even a couple families, because there was a bunch of them I seen around. But
it was 2 or 3 families that came together.
Yeah, there was maybe a couple families, but they literally had huge Santa bags filled with presents, and they were, Aiden really enjoyed that, and that put a smile on his face, especially for him getting chemo at that time and knowing what was ahead, that he'd start feeling sick and lethargic, and it was just a good boost.
Well, it's amazing the time and effort that they put into this, because they fundraised all year. It takes a lot of funds to do something like this. They would come ahead of time and have the staff at the hospital talk to the families, because they bought for everybody, the parents, the kids, and just to find out what people liked. And it was just, like you said, like a mood booster, because being in the hospital at Christmas is not fun. Then Christmas Day, I wrote that the kids opened some presents that they got at the hospital from a former family. Aiden got some video games and Carly got some craft activities. We had an awesome hot breakfast, and that was cooked by the father of the baby that was being rocked all the time. We'll call him the rocking baby. His dad cooked everybody breakfast. And then Aiden had a 3-hour-long infusion of chemo, and then he got his IVIG treatment. He was pre-treated with Benadryl, so he slept for like 6 hours that day. So, it's Christmas Day, and he's getting chemo and IVIG treatment. So it's just, to the hospital, it's just like another day. And I just said I saw a long night coming because he slept for 6 hours during the day. But the doctors said that they were surprised at how well Aiden was doing with his treatment so far, because many people are really sick by this point. So good for Aiden. Aiden woke up from his 6-hour nap hungry. He ate cereal, peanut butter on bread, and a sugar cookie, and now is playing his PlayStation. Carly played a lot with that little baby's sister. Carly is really good with the other little kids around here. I'm proud of her. And then we had takeout, Chinese, of course, because they were the only restaurants open on Christmas Day. It's a social event for everyone to come together to order food on the floor. So everybody by dinner time was like, what are we ordering? Where everybody came together to do that. So this will definitely be a Christmas to remember. Now I have to get ready for some birthday surprises for Aiden. He will turn 13 this Wednesday, December 29th.
Yeah. Funny little story about the Chinese food that we ordered, because we all ordered the Chinese food, and one of the nurses ordered Chinese food with seafood. Oh, yeah. And when she ordered it, because we all pull our order together, when she ordered it, we're like, you're ordering seafood from a Chinese restaurant? Like you order seafood from a seafood restaurant. You order hamburgers, you'd order Chinese food at a hamburger restaurant,
Right.
So we were kind of making fun of her a little bit that she was ordering seafood from a Chinese. She was out the whole next week because she had gotten food poisoning. And we asked her.
Tried to warn her,
and she was having none of it. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, the days leading up to and past Christmas, I think, were very positive. I think Aiden was showing some, happiness, like gratitude, which was not an emotion that he overly expressed, which I thought was awesome. I'd like, oh, this is really cool. Plus his birthday was coming up in a couple days, and we always had to make the distinction that here's his birthday, 4 days later, here's Christmas, 4 days later, now here's your birthday, and those two things would be completely separate. So he was looking forward to that as well.
Well, and you have to remember, we've been 100, by his birthday, it was 136 days of being in the hospital, but not together. So it was either Carlos or I with Aiden, Carlos or I with Carly. Our family was apart for 136 days. So over this holiday, it was a very special time for the four of us to finally be in one place together for longer than, like, we had those 2 weeks. So it really got extended. So we had 2 weeks
almost
at
a
home
month.
together, and then 2 more weeks. Yeah, so we got to spend a whole month together, which was just amazing. So for his birthday, I wrote, Aiden is officially a teenager. He celebrated his birthday Wednesday all day long, and he's been receiving cards and gifts the past few days. And I thanked everyone who sent him birthday wishes. His Facebook page was loaded with messages. I posted a picture of him opening some presents. And then I said, it's 9:23 a.m. and I've been up for an hour. I try to get up and get some coffee in me before the doctors come around on rounds. They are outside our door now, rounding on our neighbors. We should be next, but you never know. So sometimes you'd be standing there thinking, oh, they're right next door. They're going to, and then no, they wheel. They wheel away. And that's something with rounds. It wasn't just the doctor standing there with clipboards. They actually had like a computer on a cart that they pushed around so they could just automatically enter everything that they needed to. And I wrote, we are at their beck and call. The kiddos are sleeping, and I want them to get all the rest they can because they plan on staying up late tonight for New Year's. The floor is having a noon Year's Eve party today at noon instead of New Year's because a lot of the patients can't stay up till midnight. I don't think that will be a problem for Carly and Aiden, though.
Mm-hmm. Aiden was a night owl.
Yeah. All right, so that was the story. So then I wrote, we just had rounds, and as expected, on day 10, his counts are dropping. Not bottomed out yet, but getting there. His white count was 1. His platelets are 68,000. They will infuse him when they get to 30,000. And this number was 300,000 when we came into the hospital, so you can see how fast things tank. The doctor asked me if I thought they should reduce Aiden's anti-nausea medicine. Now, this is on rounds, and they're asking me. And I hate being put on the spot like that. What do I know? You're the doctor. But one of the nurses was in the background shaking her head no at me, like trying to help me out, because I think she saw me struggling with, like, I don't know. And I said, which was so helpful to me. Aiden is doing so well right now with not being sick. Why change anything? I'll have to thank that nurse later. Speaking of nurses, I've been breaking the ice with more of them and trying to bring in little things to show my appreciation. My mom made them cookies for Christmas, and I try to bring in good coffee and good creamer once in a while, and our latest treat has been making milkshakes and smoothies. I went out and bought a cheap dollar store blender to bring to the hospital, and we used the hospital ice cream, those little cups, they would keep them on the floor, and milk to make milkshakes. Aiden has been loving them, especially the vanilla milkshakes. We brought up some frozen fruit to make the smoothies. The nurses and secretaries said we could go into business. It's been something different and fun to do. So again, just trying to find different things and to pass time and, all that. Carly's been up here at the hospital every single day since Aiden was admitted, and without complaint. I have gone home, Carlos has gone home, and she's chose to stay both times. She loves to be here with Aiden and experience the hospital and hang out with all the secretaries, nurses, and patient families. She's been extremely helpful to Aiden getting things for him, helping him get around the room or the floor, and just hanging out with him. The child life specialist made Carly her very own imitation hospital ID card that says Carly Aponte, child life specialist in training. She loves it. She doesn't know that the child life specialist is going to put her to work now. There haven't been any kids up here even close to Aiden's age, so he has been bumming about that. But a lot of people are being admitted now, and I think I saw a girl and a boy around his age. We'll have to wait and see. I think today we're going to get Carly's Wii party game going on the Wii in the game room. Other than staying up late, we don't have too much else planned except watch the ball drop. I'm not sure what I want to say about bringing in a new year. Maybe I'll ask Aiden and have him post something. Stay tuned. So I do remember that we came in handy, like just finding something to do fun. Because Harry, what are you going to do to celebrate the New Year's in the hospital? Well, we just played and hung out, you know.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, around that time, I think you mentioned it in there that, you know, where they could, they sent a lot of kids home. So there weren't a lot of people on the floor. So even though we had some special treatment, I think we would have enjoyed spending another week at home instead of being in the hospital for Christmas. But, you know, with his schedule, them extending him for 2 weeks during that time was probably not something they should have done, but happy they did do it. But he needed to be back on that regimen to make sure that, you know, we get this cancer out of his system. So that's the main goal, right? All this other stuff is just window dressing compared to the goal at hand, which is we want to cure him. You know, that's what we're here for, is the cure.
And the 5 rounds is non-negotiable. Like, you have to go through that. So they were trying to, you know, work with us, you know, when they could. But if it was Christmas Day that you got to come in, and then that's what you got to do. All right, so just to end this is kind of like the Christmas, you know, Christmas in the holiday episode, but this is day 12 of round 4, so round 4 is going to be a couple parts. I'm so thankful for the time my family has had to spend together over the past month. Aiden came home from round 3 on December 7th, and we had 2 weeks at home. And then he was readmitted on December 22nd, which allowed our whole family to be at the hospital with him from the 22nd till January 2nd. He's been doing well so far with this round, and I know having all of us there and the excitement with Christmas, birthday, and the New Year gave him things to look forward to. For New Year's, we decorated the playroom a little bit with streamers and stayed up till midnight because we kind of took it over and watching the ball drop. I have to say, Carly deserves the Sister of the Year award. She stayed at the hospital her whole break and was a huge helper to her brother. She helped plug and unplug his IV pole, helped him around, played with him, bickered with him, keeping things normal, helped him with a bloody lip when I was out of the room, and was just terrific. Carly and I came home today to get ready for our school and work routine. We are both sad about that. Aiden and Carlos already have the man cave back in full effect. Carly does have basketball to look forward to, and I will get to watch her practice on Wednesdays and some Fridays, but her games are Saturdays, so I will miss them until Aiden comes home. She will just have to score extra points for me, and you know your kids always play better when you aren't there, so she probably has some awesome games in her future. Aiden's counts hit 0 today, and his throat is starting to get sore. I hope he doesn't get the mouth sores like last time. That was horrible. I'm anticipating a week of yuckiness, and then we should start seeing some blips on his counts before they skyrocket up. We hope to be home at the end of January for our week of vacation from the hospital, and then it'll be the last round. I can't believe we are that close.
Yeah, that's what we thought at the time, right? We thought, well, we're getting through this one. I think the holidays kind of helped that 4th round go a little quicker.
Yep.
We said, wow, we got, you know, this 4th round's almost in the books. We can have the 5th round coming up. But a couple things showed up in the fourth round, I think, after the beginning of the year, and some things that kind of we had to deal with maybe and still are dealing with to this day. I think we really put our finger on something this fourth round coming up that, was an important twist that I don't know if we did the best we possibly could do during that time. I think we reached out for some help, but not to tease too much, but I think we realized that there were some things that, we had talked about in the past that were quirks. And then we actually got a diagnosis that maybe there were some things going on with Aiden that were beyond just a quirk. And I started learning some new technology or terminology that I never knew before. So, maybe we'll talk a little bit about this, the next episode.
Yep.
Talk about the end of round 4 and our hopes and desires going into the last and final round of chemotherapy.
Yep. So thank you for listening, everybody, and watching. And we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.